70-52. Florida hasn't scored this many points since 2008 when Florida beat the Citadel. Um, and I wonder how many times Florida's given up that many points. I didn't hear the stat. I was listening to Mick Hubert on the radio that Samford obviously scored 52. Florida scored 70. They haven't scored that many points since 2008. And that's crazy to think of if you think about all the talent that's came to the NFL. Again, I understand that you've had Muschamp and you've had McElwain, but to not reach that number is was pretty surprising. Once you heard the stat that I did on the radio. Driver Lane drops a comment. I've been patient. Team fundamentals are a joke. That's coaching. Recruiting not up to par. That's coaching. Team is not playing hard again. Coaching. Time to pull the plug. Yeah, I agree. And it's coaching. It's recruiting. It's the guys not playing for you. And players, former players have said this throughout the week that I've seen on Twitter. Even when Muschamp wasn't playing coaching well, and he had what was it, the 4-win season? I think it was 2013. I think it was 13 or 14. The guys played hard for him, and that defense always played hard for him. They never quit. That South Carolina performance never happened under Will Muschamp. The game you saw today, where Florida is all out of sorts. The first drive where Samford's going tempo. They're at the 2-yard line, Samford is, and Florida's trying to have a defensive line change, and then Namble has to call a timeout on the first drive of the game. That's 100% on coaching. That's not the players. And, that's not – that's all 100% coaching. And why I said if you guys are just joining us, that I don't think this coaching staff stays after the year. I think Scott Strickland will make a decision the Thanksgiving weekend. I don't know if Scott Strickland will pull the trigger. I thought that he would pull the trigger. I thought Dan Mullen would be fired after the Florida State game, after last week's game. And then as the week progressed and went through, I think my emotions changed a little bit of what I thought Scott Strickland would do. But there's no way you can keep anybody on this defensive staff. Offensively, there was there were how many recruits this week? I think it was 2 flipped away from Florida and then went to Georgia. And one of them said, quote, no one, I haven't kept a close relationship with anybody. And I think he mentioned Billy Gonzalez's name. Like that's part of the job, coach. When you're not in season the 3 months and when you're not in spring ball, you're on the road recruiting. I remember Nick Saban, I forget, what national title it was, but Nick Saban was asked when he's on the podium with the team on the stage holding the trophy that you just won the national title. And I forget who the reporter was. They asked Nick Saban, what are you doing tomorrow, coach? And Nick Saban says, well, I'm recruiting. And that's the mindset you have to have. So Florida letting go of their offensive line coach, John Hevesy, whoever that offensive line coach, and this was mentioned in Zach Goodall's article, he covers Florida for Sports Illustrated. That offensive line coach has to be an ace recruiter because you have to catch up so much from the line play, from the guys that don't have the talent, because it hasn't been up to par at all. Yeah, so I saw this stat. Florida gave up 42 points in the first half. That's never happened. And this is another thing. Samford, whatever it is, so they've played 10 games now. In the previous 9 games, they've only scored around 40 points 3 times, and they've never scored more than 50. And they did that against Florida's defense. Just inexcusable. And they had, Samford finished with 530 yards. They had 42, I think it was, in the first half. But give Florida's defense credit, Coach Robinson. They made adjustments somehow. I know there was a lot of busted plays. They kept that to a minimum and only gave up, 10 points in the second half. So At least that's a positive. There were a couple freshmen that played. I saw Austin Barber, offensive lineman, who was one of the top recruits from Florida last year. He got some playing time at the end. Emory Jones is apparently the guy for Florida. I don't see how Dan Mullen changes anything going forward because Anthony Richardson was cleared to play throughout the week after the knee injury he had Friday after the hotel dance. If you guys didn't see that, I think they said he hurt his knee, something with his legs.